What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James, man. I'm back in these streets. I'm back in these work streets. Yo, basically, I'm dropping this video because I'm talking about my interview with Mike Fisher last night. I was going to play the video for us, but when I went to my restream was acting weird. It was acting wild. Me and Mike had already tried to do this before, and something had came up on my end. So I really didn't want to reschedule this no more. He's a busy man. I'm a busy man. So I wanted to get this out of him while I could. So I apologize you didn't hear from him. But me and Mike Fisher had an interview last night after about 6 o'clock. And, I asked him some quick, poignant questions about the Dallas Cowboys, the coaching situation, and Dak Prescott. So basically, in a synopsis, when I talked to Mike, I asked him a few things. First, I asked him about this season and what does he feel about the Cooper Rush and Trey Lance thing. Per Mike Fisher basically told me that, NFL should probably have more like farm teams where you can really develop and let guys really get better. And basically, this situation where Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones are saying Cooper Rush gives them the best chance to win. That's not what we need to happen right now. Like, we're trying to get a whole boatload of picks. We obviously see this season is not going the way you want. And you got Trey Lance for a reason. You need to play some Trey Lance. You don't want to have a Cooper Rush giving you the best chance to win. We get it. But right now, let's keep it real. This team is not going anywhere. This team is not a playoff-bound team. So winning certain games and things of that nature, it's not a detriment, but it is a detriment if you're trying to get a high pick. So if Cooper Rush gives you the best chance to win and you're trying to get picks, that's probably not the thing to do. And that's what we spoke on. Also, we talked about Dak Prescott and basically the situation with the injury. And, Dak came out and said this is one of his toughest years he's had. And, Mike basically told me that Dak Prescott's not going anywhere. So the talk that's been in the streets, let's trade him and let's see what you can do. You can draft Shador, like you can draft another quarterback and see if you trade him. No. He was saying you're tied $90 million, dead money. You are tied to Dak Prescott until at least 2027. So that marriage ain't going nowhere. Dak Prescott ain't going nowhere. So the best thing to do is you may have a potential of $100 million available for you next year is to build around Dak Prescott and see what you can do going forward from there. But Dak Prescott ain't going nowhere. So there ain't no point in talking about it in the streets. He ain't getting traded. That's not happening. He's not going to waive the no trade clause. Dallas Cowboys are married to Dak Prescott until at least 2027. So the 2025, 26, and 27 years will be Dak Prescott. I personally have already made a video saying, I don't think the marriage of Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones is going to take a higher level step, a Super Bowl step. I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. I felt like, those 8 years you had some really good teams, and maybe you can get some good teams and maybe a different coach can change things. But from my perspective, as long as Jerry's there and, I just feel like I don't know if Dak can take us to that next level. Well, like I said, I had to take a quick break. I had to take care of these customers. But you know what? We'll see. I said yesterday that, you have really good teams. You couldn't do it. But I'm going to only say this. It could be coaching because that's the last thing in my heart. If you get and we're going to mention this person here, if this person comes in this program and he has full authority, and in this time you don't do anything with Dallas, ain't nobody else you are what you are, and ain't nobody else going to do it, okay? That's all I'm going to say. So, I had told y'all yesterday about Deion Sanders. I would be cool with Deion Sanders being the coach, and I have broke everything down. I'm not going to go through all that again. Go check the video out I made yesterday about it. But I said he would be the only guy I would be wanting back because of what he brings to the table. And like I said, go check out my video yesterday and you'll see what I said. But when I talked to Mike Fisher yesterday, Mike said he talked to Deion a couple of years ago. And Deion had told him then he had no interest in coaching in the NFL for the reasons that I had talked about yesterday and the reasons that he has spoke of in the media himself, that he don't want to deal with the pro athletes. They're spoiled, they pampered, they don't want to work hard. And it's so true. Let's keep it real. These pro athletes are some of the most sensitive people in the world, dog. They be on Twitter all day, right? Talking about whatever, but you can't say one thing about them, and if you supposedly don't know what you're talking about, they always want to play you like you ain't played no football. You don't even, so I just be feeling like, and I ain't hating on the athletes. I get it. They get all that scrutiny and all that noise all the time, but it's a sport you chose to play. And if it's a sport you chose to play, you chose to deal with all that craziness too, because that's what's going to come with it when you're dealing with sports and fans. You're going to deal with all that. So I don't want to be hearing all that crying from them. You know what I'm saying? But he said, Deion said it a couple years ago. Nope, I don't want to do it. Deion has been reiterating, I'm not doing it. I always say, people say all those things. I've seen so many people say they would never do anything. But money and situations changes things. So until the next coach is hired, it'll still be in the back of my head, because Deion said he wasn't leaving Jackson State neither, and he voted for Colorado. I've seen tons of coaches. I've seen tons of players. I've seen tons of people say they weren't going to go to this. I'm happy where I'm at. I ain't going nowhere. I've established this. I've established that. This is my spot. And then the next day they sign a 5-year deal somewhere else. So he said it. It is what it is until it is what it ain't. So I'm going to back off the Deion thing, because Mike said he going to take Deion for what his word. He said it a couple years ago. He wasn't doing it, and he'd been reiterating it the whole time. So I'm going to back off the Deion thing. Now, I told y'all, as soon as Bill Belichick got done with New England, he was going to be the next coach of Dallas. Him or Kellen Moore, you get what I'm saying? Or there's another name coming up. But, yeah, Bill Belichick. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm not with it. 72-year-old dude. I know he's one of the greatest coaches ever. You had Tom Brady. Now, you did have some good squads. You were great in free agency. You know how to pick up players, get players from other teams. Y'all knew how to cut players right before their deals, flip and trade them. Like, y'all were good at that. Not the greatest with drafting from Bill Belichick's reign, but he definitely was good at getting free agents and getting other players. And Bill don't take no shit. That's why him and Deion were the main people I said Jerry would listen to, as far as, he gonna talk back to you. Bill, I don't think Bill gonna just bow down to Jerry. You get what I'm saying? But they've had a long-standing friendship as well. And I felt like there's been this courting thing going on back and forth between them two. And to me, like I told y'all, when Bill Parcells came in right after Wade Phillips, they were saying Wade Phillips had a cupcake environment. Everybody was just cool. It was just lackadaisical. Yes, he had talent, but too many people were getting away with stuff. Too many problems were happening. They need discipline. And then Jerry went out and got Bill Parcells out of retirement. Right? We've seen this before. I'm just making sure y'all know that. We've seen this before. Got Bill Parcells out of retirement. And, during Parcells' tenure, it wasn't bad. He took a bad team and got them to the playoffs. He established Romo. Romo ended up being a very good quarterback. And he's the one that had him on the roster. He had a great draft in 2005. DeMarcus Ware, that was a great draft. So he laid a foundation. But, Bill wasn't going to – he was older. He had already retired. He wasn't going to keep going back and forth with Jerry, especially when Jerry went and got T.O. and he said he didn't want him. So there's that dynamic still there. And then he just said after that fumble with Romo, I'm done. So I feel him. But once again, he had already retired and brought out of retirement. Bill Belichick retired. Guess what? I feel like you can connect the dots. So if Bill doesn't take another job, and let's say he does, from Perth, Mike Fisher, he said the only way it really would work if he gave Bill some control. He mentioned letting Bill be in vice president of operations. He said if Jerry were to actually come off some of that responsibility, and actually, if Bill wanted to be like a VP of operations where he has control of decisions, there's a ray of hope. But he said that he don't think Jerry gonna do that. He don't think Jerry will relinquish that control. He's that much on this team and Jerry, you could worry about the marketing, bro. You're 82 years old. You out of touch, dude. You don't know the football like you think you know it. Stephen A. just compared you to Joe Biden. You took real offense to that because you moving around, you going to meetings, you doing this. Just because you're doing all that don't mean you're all the way there. I don't care. You're still 82 years old. And ain't no other 82-year-old GMs out there. Yeah, you can be running here and you can be running there and doing this and doing that. That don't mean you're still effectively doing your job. And just because you're running around and doing things like other 82-year-olds are not, that don't mean you're still making coherent and smart decisions. So I ain't hating on him, calling him that Biden. Maybe you ain't losing it like he is, but in reality, I don't think you're in reality, and I think you're out of touch with reality, especially you thinking you're a football man and you're making these decisions and it's crippling the team still. But as I said before, I would keep an open heart to Bill Belichick, especially if Jerry did back off and give him some power and actually put it in writing. This man is doing this, and this is what he is. He's the new VP. But the Joneses is so hell-bent on, and Mike said this as well, he's still hell-bent on proving that I did this. It's me. I did this. And Jerry is still hell-bent on, and them Joneses are hell-bent on proving to the world that we can do this. It's us. It's us. And that's the biggest thing that's been chasing Jerry since Jimmy Johnson. He is out to prove he's a football guy, and he did it his way. And guess what? 30 years of saying you don't know what you're doing on it. And I think you cursed because, like I said, Dallas has some damn good teams, and something is always happening. And I feel like it's a curse that's only between you and God or whatever. And the team is dealing with it. That's just me. But he also told me Bill Belichick may have some interest in the New York Giants. Their situation. So basically, in ending, Mike was telling me that if you don't get the Bill Belichick, if the Bill Belichick doesn't get the power that he wants, and you don't get the Bill Belichick, because that's what he's going to want. He's going to want some authority. He's going to want some power, because he mentioned the podcast. He mentioned, this is what Mike mentioned last night, podcast, kicking in clubs after games, after getting your ass kicked. This is what things he mentioned. So this must what the Cowboys not like and must be talking about. And just the situation with the Mike McCarthy comments. There's just a lot of talk about those type of things, and it's too loosey-goosey up in there, and they need somebody to come in and lay the hammer down. And if it ain't Bill Belichick, because he's going to want the power, and he don't think Jerry's going to give up that power. If he does, then we could see some headway. Okay? So if Dak Prescott builds up, if Dak Prescott gets a Bill Belichick and Jerry relinquishes some power, and they go get draft picks and stuff, yeah, I won't be as pessimistic, because then I'll say Jerry is like, okay, you know what? I need to step back, because that's the only way we're going to do it. If he don't step back and he still gets a Belichick as his coach over Dak Prescott, I still feel it's going to fail, because Jerry is still over top of it, and he just going to do some dumb, goofy stuff. I just don't believe it. But if he takes that step back, like me and Mike Fisher talked about, and gave some Belichick some power in name, then I think it could be a change. And then I would have more of a positive outlook when you get in the draft picks, because I know Bill Belichick will be a little more shrewder in free agency and things of that nature, right? Now, if Bill Belichick goes to like the Giants or a different team, Mike said you want to have somebody with some Bill Belichickian ties from the Bill Belichickian tree, because there needs to be some discipline and some straightness. Didn't name any names, but I know a Mike Vrabel's out there. Mike said he had 14 names. Go to check out his show about the 100 million, and 100 million could be available, and the 14 coaches that could be a coach for the Dallas Cowboys. But if it's not Belichick, the name of the day is Belichickian, and that could be Mike Vrabel. I don't know about Vrabel. Unless he gets a great offensive coordinator, because I feel like Vrabel, when he coached the defense, it wasn't the greatest. But I like Vrabel, his tough-nosedness. He'll get out there and bang. He'll tell it how it is. He don't give a hell. He gonna go hard with discipline and things of that nature. So if it ain't Belichick, it's from the Belichickian tree. So that's what I'm getting for possibly the next coach from Dallas. I feel like Bill Belichick is at the top of the list. And if there's power given, there might be a chance. But let me tell you something. If Belichick comes here and Jerry's still on the same thing and Dak is here and Dak don't do it with that, then Dak ain't that dude. You feel me? And I'm not trying to throw Dak out there like that, but, bro, it's in my opinion right now, you've been with two coaches, Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy. They ain't the greatest, so I get it. But you still have some good teams. I know it ain't all on you, big dog, but you are the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and eventually you got to help this team get over the hump somehow, some kind of way. And right now, I still have some doubts. I do. But if you get a Belichick, there ain't no more excuses. This the last call for alcohol. If you get a Belichick and y'all can't do it under Belichick, it's a wrap. Big Game James, I'm out. Peace.